Hello everyone, welcome to the 18th and final episode of Flashback Royal Rumble. I'd like to thank you for joining me. It was a great run doing these Flashback Royal Rumbles. This won't be the last Flashback I'll do. I'll also do WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series, but in terms of Royal Rumble, this will be the last Flashback for the year. Not only will I be reviewing the last two Royal Rumble events, that being the 2010 and the 2011 shows, but I'll also be giving a quick predictions of this year's Royal Rumble event. So, on we go to the 2010 Royal Rumble event. Overall, it was a pretty good show. I really liked it. There's not much else to be said. The show kicking off with Christian and Ezekiel Jackson for the ECW Championship was a pretty good matchup, and I will give credit where credit's due to Christian for making Ezekiel Jackson look good. I'm not putting down Ezekiel Jackson's talent as a worker, but if we're just talking work rate rise, he's not up to par with some. But Christian really did have a hand in making him look good, and props to Christian for that. Then there was the United States Championship match between The Miz and MVP, in which The Miz retains his United States title. And this matchup was only made that night because I guess they needed some time to fill. So I didn't really expect much since it was just an impromptu match. But for an impromptu match, it was okay, of course. And once again, I didn't expect much, and I didn't get much. Then there was the WWE Championship match between Sheamus and Randy Orton. Overall, wasn't the best match I've seen, but it wasn't the worst. And to me, this match seemed more to the advancement to the legacy breakup of anything. And since it was just that kind of made Sheamus irrelevant, which is a shame because he's the WWE Champion. He's the top guy in the company. And when you make the top guy in the company seem irrelevant, then you're doing something wrong, in my opinion. Then there's the Women's Championship match between Michelle McCool and Mickie James. Mickie James ends up winning the Women's Championship after months of torture, of mental torture and mental brutality by Flawless, Michelle McCool and Layla. Of course, the match itself was a dud because it was only like 25 seconds, but the build-up and the payoff was what overshadowed the match, which I didn't see a problem with. Of course, the face divas coming in with the cake and splashing it all over the faces of Layla and Michelle McCool after their months of bullying definitely was a great way to end the feud. But as we thought it was the end of the feud, it wasn't. As Mickie James would end up dropping the title back to Michelle McCool within a couple of weeks, which didn't really make sense. And then Mickie James ends up getting released from the WWE and going to TNA. But overall, the angle itself was pretty good. The build-up and the payoff was more memorable than the match itself. Then we have the World Heavyweight Championship match between Rey Mysterio and The Undertaker. This was a very good David and Goliath match. Both guys are great workers, and they're definitely capable of putting on good matches, and this was definitely no exception. Rey Mysterio, Undertaker, great matchup, 11 minutes of great matchup, a great match, and I think Undertaker winning was a good call, as it still had the illusion that maybe Shawn Michaels will win and challenge Undertaker to another WrestleMania match. Speaking of the Royal Rumble match, that's what's coming up next, is your main event. Shawn Michaels coming in. It seems like Shawn Michaels' only job was to make sure that the fans were aware that the illusion was there, that Shawn Michaels had a chance of facing The Undertaker again. As if winning the Royal Rumble match was his only way of getting in the ring with The Undertaker, which it seemed like the only option at the time. And of course, this Royal Rumble saw the surprising return of Edge. who ends up being the number 29 entrant and tossing out Chris Jericho early into his entry. The show and the match ends up with Edge tossing out Cena to win the match, much to the delight of the crowd, and now Edge goes on to WrestleMania. Overall, this was a great matchup. I mean, this was a pretty good show. Edge, also in the Royal Rumble matchup, I want to point out CM Punk's performance when he would eliminate the people, and he would grab a mic and basically do a promo after each elimination. And then the Great Khali comes, and then here comes Beth Phoenix, who becomes the second woman in WWE history to enter the Royal Rumble match. Her time in there was pretty short, but not that bad. I mean, her memorable part was eliminating the Great Khali with a kiss, and then getting a GTS by Punk and getting eliminated. But overall, the 2010 Royal Rumble event was pretty good. I recommend seeing it for the return of Edge, CM Punk's performance, and Beth Phoenix's historical appearance in the match, in the event. Now we move on to the 2011 Royal Rumble show.